Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Alara. It is Sunday, March 31st. Happy Easter for everyone who celebrates. Happy Sunday for everyone who doesn't. If you're like my family and semi-celebrate, enjoy time with friends and family. We actually don't get like a long weekend or anything around here for time off for Good Friday or the day after Easter or anything. So I decided to take y'all's advice, not push myself too hard, so I'm a week later than what I had said I wanted to be. That's okay. It was too soon. The week before, or last week. As you can hear, if you've been with me, you know, I've been pretty ill. Yeah, it's lingering, but I'm definitely a lot better, so it's okay. Yeah. So hopefully there's not a whole lot of coughing. I'm definitely not promising anything. So welcome. If you are new to the channel, this is a channel about cross stitch. I do include some life stuff, but I try to keep the kind of stuff towards the end for anybody who's interested. I do a variety of projects. I prefer full coverage, but there's definitely a lot in here as far as like a variety goes. If you have come back and are returning, thank you so much for hanging out with me and sticking around. And because I know there's so many great Flosstubers out there, more coming in all the time. Speaking of which, I want to go ahead and do a shout out before I forget. She and I have followed each other on Instagram for a long time, and just in past conversations, it's been a while since I've had a chat with her, but like it was one of those like, man, I wish I could see your cross stitch. And she finally recorded, and like this has been a couple years ago that like when I first started recording, that we had a chat like that, and she finally put out her first floss tube, and it was epic, and I loved it. And I don't know how she did it, but she recorded her first whip parade at a retreat, and she doesn't have a small number of projects. But there's some overlap as far as some patterns that we have. So we have similar tastes in some regards, and others it's like, oh, you know, that's really cool, and I haven't come across that, or you know, maybe not necessarily something I would stitch, but very interesting projects. But Sharon over at Sharon's Crafty Creations, go give her a watch. She's a natural. She has made videos before. You'll only find the one on her channel currently. Sorry, I got dust and fuzz and stuff flying around. But she is definitely a natural in front of the camera, so thoroughly enjoyed it. She's over in the UK, so you know, got the accent to sit and listen to, and wish I could be as cool as that. But yeah, so I'll link her below. And I'm still slowly catching up on my videos and of people that I want to watch. There's not enough time in the day for it. I take a drink. So I worked on, it's been what, a week and 3 days since I last recorded, and I've worked on 8 projects. Excuse me. 3 of those projects are my focus pieces. One of those focus pieces you have not seen yet, other than me showing the pattern when I got it. I'm very excited. The Heaven and Earth Designs Stitch Along second installment was released a couple of days, well, today, like a day early, and depending on time zone, I guess. So maybe they just released it so that like people down under can stitch on their April 1st. I didn't think about that. That's actually pretty cool. So yeah, but it meant that we got it a day early. I was able to export my old progress, loaded the new pattern up, imported my progress. It was super easy. I was kind of intimidated before, and I don't know why, because it was easy. So yeah, unfortunately, I have no zeros anymore. I'm gonna have to fix that when I stitch on it next. But yeah, so let's get into it. Where do I want to start? There is a modification to what I'm doing. I'll explain a little bit about, just because there's been so many new people come in, I'll go ahead and explain a little bit about what I'm doing as far as my projects go, after I show you the progress that I have on what I've stitched on. So, excuse me. I'll go ahead and show you my focus pieces first. Let's do that. So this first one is from Heaven and Earth Design. Since I started working on that, we'll do the stitch along first. This is the Merry Mushroom Village 2. Artwork is by Amy Stewart. And my goal for this, if I don't really want to keep going into detail for the SAL, but there's really, you can't sign up for it anymore, and there's prizes associated with it. My end goal being that I finish this pattern by the end of the year. I need to do 1,200 stitches a week, every week, until the end of the year. I typically go over whatever thread I have left, so I feel like I'm in good standing with that. I've managed to keep up with it. But yeah, like I said, I don't have any zeros anymore. I'm going to have to fix that. I am not sure, though, now. Once I saw once the new pages were in, so it's all the way over, the top row is completely released now. And then the first 2 pages on the bottom are, on the second row, are released. And I don't know if I want to come back down and like keep working my diagonal rows, or if I want to keep working on the top row and just be able to, feather into the next pages as I need to with my string. I'll probably do that because I'm really lazy and I don't want to move my Q-snap because it's like perfect tension and it's centered nicely. But anyway, so there's a little on the edge that you can't see, but oh, you know what? I will take off one side of the Q-snap. I forgot I could do that because brain is hard. Okay, so I stitched on this just once since last time because I typically stitch every Monday on this. So I just had the one Monday from this past week. I put 1,234 stitches in. Of course, this percentage is wrong. At that point in time, it was 70.68% complete. That is now back down to 36.62. That's so sad. Oh well. Excuse me. Okay. So I don't know if this is going to fit very well. Yeah, I can do this. There we go. So there's my progress from before and after. Now that you can actually see. And I don't know why, but when I picked this pattern, and I'm not complaining by any stretch of the imagination, but it really didn't hit me how much of this tree is like most of the pattern, or like a big feature of the pattern. It's pretty much the entire, like, the background. But it's beautiful. I love how it's turning out. I love these fairy lights. I got this one filled in, so that's completely filled in. That's where my diagonal is at right now. I do have quite a bit stitched in the mushroom. It's just all very, very light, so it's hard to see. But that's all solid now. And that little bumpy on the mushroom turned out really cool. Man, this looks so good on camera. Oh, does not look bad in person, but I'm stitching this. Oh, I'm stitching this on 25 count, even weave from China, 2/1 half cross. And I'm not used to stitching in half cross or tent stitch, whatever you want to call it. But, so my eyes aren't quite liking it up close, but it really looks fantastic as far as like viewing distance. So yeah, I'm loving it. Sometimes it's a little bit of a slog to pick it up and work on it, but not really. Not really. Not for me. Not right now. All right. Next, let me go into, this is my new focus piece, Misty Castle. I forget the full name. I just keep calling it Misty Castle. Misty Castle on a Lake. This is from WinkenBlinkenNOdd on Etsy. I am doing this as a test, like a model stitch, test stitch for her. I need to post on Instagram. I need to get I mean, this is, I was provided this pattern with, you know, because it is a full coverage and it's going to take so long to stitch, with the request that I share on social media. YouTube is social media, but I want to give it its full due and try to post on Instagram. I'm really, really bad at posting on Instagram regularly. So it's just a matter of I got to turn it into a habit, figure out what the best way for me to post is so that I do it regularly. I did not realize. Luckily, I have a huge backup stash of ecru, but is it ecru that's ridiculous? I'm pretty sure it's ecru. Oh no, it's not even ecru. Do I have this sorted right? I think I do. Yeah, 3865. So basically white is the predominant color of this pattern. There's 52,000 stitches of 3865. This whole pattern is a very light piece. After all the black that I've been working on, and even normally I don't have a huge problem stitching light colors on light fabric, but that's a lot of 3865. I think I have enough to get through. Whatever, I'll make it work. It's fine. And then there's a lot of like 712, a lot of 30, 33, and then ecru is like, yeah. Anyways, you don't care about that. You care about what I stitched. Now this is nice, and there's a nice mixture so far of confetti and block stitching. So I absolutely did not want to put this down. I wanted to work on this multiple days, but being that I do have some goals that I would like to meet this year, it's not, I was disciplined. I stopped myself from going too far overboard. I'm stitching this on a 32 count even weave, again from China. I'm doing this 1/1 full cross, and because it's such a small count and I use pretty long threads when I stitch, I can get quite a bit over as far as like when I'm finishing off the thread. So I put 2,463 stitches in this over 2 stitching sessions, and it is at 0.98%. And there's a harsh line here because this is a huge block of whatever this color is. I don't remember. 3033 is what's in there. Sorry for the light issue there. So yeah, like I said, I love stitching on this one. That's some major dithering going on, that's for sure, in that. So but that makes for a really nice photo effect. I'm hoping the 32 count is going to give it a really nice smooth photo effect for this one. So this is going to be something that you will see every floss tube as long as I don't get deathly ill again. You'll see this come out every time until it's done. It's probably going to take me about 2 years to do if I keep with just the 1 day a week. But that's okay. Alright, so my last focus piece, I meant to take this out of the Q-snap so you could see the whole thing. It's going to be a little awkward because I'm in my normal stitching chair instead of where I can lean back a little bit. I gotta move this anyway because I finished the section I was working on. I just forgot to take it out. Okay, so this piece is, I believe Misty Castle on a Lake. Oh, I don't have I just have like the plain file for Pattern Keeper. I think it's an AI chart. I think that she created for WinkenBlinken. I'll have to double check that and make a note of it for next time. Anyways, okay. So this next up is Dragons of the Sabbath by Paine Free Crafts, or charted by Paine Free Crafts. Artwork is by Ian Stokes. This one I've been working on so long and so steadily that I typically forget to give you some of the stats on it. So this is being stitched on 28 count even weave from China, 1/1 full cross. I am stitching all black first. So right now, I think my goal isn't necessarily to finish the black on the inside this year, but I think what I want to try and 52,000 stitches, basically a little over that, is going to be my goal for this year. If that equals like the outside of the inside black, that would be cool. But it's one of those things that's what I'm working on, is the outside of the inside black where the dragons sit. I'm working on, this is a challenge piece that I'm also doing to for motivation with Jen, the caffeinated crafter. Poor thing, I think she's regretting trying to have a focus piece. But she's working on her honeymoon sunset, and even though she loves that project, having to get it out every week to do this challenge, I think has been a little taxing on her lately. So go over there and cheer her on. Let's see. Here was where I was last week. Okay, had to get a mental picture of where I was. So here's where I'm at now. I had this, I had this to finish filling in, and then I came through and filled and put this in. This was worked twice. And did I tell you how much I put in? I don't think I did. Where did I put my notes? Oh no, I lost my notes. The show can't go on without my notes. There we go. I put 2,051 stitches in on Dragons, and Dragons is at 28.16%. So I did hit another percentage on this, and this is like almost a super size, 755 by 800. But I didn't really start off with a rhyme or reason. Sorry guys, I can't, this manhandling this fabric is just wee. I started out kind of randomly with what black I was stitching, kind of based on what was close enough to, even though I have it gridded, I don't trust my counting of squares. So I had to go off of, what was closest to the outside. But now that I'm securely into where I am, I'm going to be working down along this outer curve. So that one is almost done. I got to come up here and finish filling in quite a bit of black here, and I'll jump down to the next segment. But I'm not going to be able to show you all of this, I think, unless, can I? Almost. There it is. For those of you maybe who haven't seen it or who haven't seen it in a while. So this one is it's just my piece that I go to, and it's nice to just have something one color. You don't have to think about it much. Just go. Okay. All right, now on to the rest. I feel like I'm talking very slowly about these today. All right. Now, I don't expect you to remember what I pulled last week, but Face of a Mermaid was one of them. Excuse me. This is a piece by Total Cross Stitch. She doesn't have an artist credited, but she did pull the licensed photo to shutter pixabay kind of thing. Love this artwork. So this is stitched on 28 count even weave Lugana, and I stitched, so this was called to have 1,100 stitches put into it. I'll kind of go into a little bit for new folks. So at the end of last year, I had help with the math, but we broke down how many projects that I wanted to work on and or start. It turned out to be like 320 total projects, including my whips that I already had going, and divided those up into like however many into a stitch goal of 275,000 by the end of this year. So, and I didn't want to have like the same number of stitches for everything. So it went from 300 all the way up to 1,600. I am now realizing I need to, if I do something similar to this next year, as far as numbers and stuff, it's going to have to be between 500 and 1,200. 1,200 I'm okay with. That's my limit. I'm finding that more than that, if it's not in a project I'm absolutely in love with, it's an absolute slog trying to get through the project. 300 is just too little. It frustrates me to no end to stop after 300 stitches, especially if it's a full coverage start. It's like there's nothing. I see nothing. There's nothing happening yet. So anyways, I drew numbers and assigned them each to a project, like arbitrarily. So I wrote them all down, so when I draw a project out of my basket now, the stitch count number is right there. I know what I'm going to stitch on it, at least goal-wise. So I put 1,146 stitches. Oh, Dragons has a total now of 170,073 stitches. So I hit the 170,000 mark. Milestone, if you will. Face of a Mermaid has 17,356 stitches and is 19.84% complete. I worked in park threads, so there's a lot of things happening here that doesn't look like a whole lot of anything yet. But I did get, I got all of the parked threads here, and I think I got one of the bottom page parked threads worked on. Like, this one bothers me that it's still there, but I couldn't get I didn't get to it. But it's pretty confetti heavy, but it's not hard confetti. And it looks so, I mean, look at that bubble. It looks so amazing when it's filled in, and it looks like nothing until it's filled in. Oh, for the most part. And I do love this piece. She's not a focus this year. She probably won't be a focus next year. She's little. She will get done in her own time. So, Face of a Mermaid. Total cross stitches on Etsy. The ones that are like not paper patterns and stuff, I'll make sure link, at least link to the website, if not to the actual project. Okay, next up was, I gotta find it. One of my Christmas ornaments. This was the flag gnome from For Stitch Love. Is that right? For Stitch Love, I think, on Etsy. And then forstitch.com is their website. I'll just link the website, because I don't want to go into Etsy. If you want the Etsy link, let me know. I apparently, So I think I talked about this a little bit last time. I had pulled a gnome, or the first gnome that I worked on. So I didn't realize that these were not all very similar in size. And I'm pretty sure I used one of the smallest ones to cut fabric for. So I have almost no margin on a few of these gnomes. But his goal was 500, and I stitched 504. He's at 10%, just over 10%. But this is his hat. And his nose right here starting. I really wanted to get into the flagpole, but I really followed just where the pattern was taking me, but that is it for margin. It's the bottom of his shoes right there. So he's going to have to be, I mean, at least he's an ornament. It's not going to be super, super hard to finish him with that small of a margin. But he was fun to work on. I did have a couple of people express interest in hearing a little bit about plans for next year, so I will go into it a little bit towards the end here. Okay, next is, this is one I post. I did get a post on Instagram for this one. This is A Ride to Dreamland. This is by Stony Creek from like 1904. 1993, I think. Yeah, 93. This is the finished product. The picture absolutely does it zero justice. For the colors, for the effect, I think it's going to look 1,000 times better than what this cover photo shows. But I got all of 302 stitches done because it only called for 300. I was actually kind of glad for that because the start was super intense. And this was the first of 2 busts trying to get something into Markup RXP. I think it has to do more with how I was scanning things and not like being super familiar with what Markup likes as far as its PDFs go. My goal, it scanned in okay. It was seeing the symbols okay. But what my goal was to knit the 4 pages together from the book. And it did not like the way the pages were set up. Because there's shaded areas, and this is probably more my ignorance in how markup works than the actual program. But there's shaded rows that it didn't, I don't know how to integrate well. And if I tried to take them off, it made each page a different stitch count size, which it also doesn't like. It can't like merge the pages if the stitch number, like if the stitch counts are different on each page. And the whole point of trying to get into RXP for myself was to have it so that I could not have harsh page lines, that I would be able to pretty seamlessly look and stitch over the pages. And I just couldn't, my brain was not okay with how that was coming out. So I did end up just using the booklet to stitch off of. I'm like doing super old school. I didn't make a working copy. I'm not marking them off. I'm just looking at it and stitching what I see. So I'm not guaranteeing there's no counting errors for sure on that one. But this has this calls for Kreinik blending filament, which I found way more nice. That's not, no. Easier, better to work with than some of the, like, oh, it's little, but I really didn't have any issues stitching with it as a blended thing. Alluring Sorceress used I thought it was blending filament, but it had to have been like the number I don't know. I don't know. It was bigger, and I didn't like it at all. So, that being said, I don't know where I'm going with that. This is what it started with, though. 300 stitches. That's all the colors that I used, plus a mauve that's like not part of the like saddle is where I started in. But I mean, every single color was blended. It was fine. It took a little while to do, just, you know, just because it's a blend. I am stitching this 2 over 2. 2 over 2? 3 over 2? I don't remember. Because it's one strand of DMC to 2 blending filament strands. So technically 3 over 2. I am stitching this on, where's my thing? I think this is a, yeah, this is a 28 count casual linen. The colorway is Fairies Daybreak from sunnydyesfabrics.com. Sunny Dyes Fabrics. I don't think she's in business anymore. I am really glad I double checked my measurements though, because I think I can use like half of this fabric for another project. So that's the linen. That's so pretty in the camera. And then, sure. Yeah. Okay. This is my start. So this is the saddle. Okay. Right in here is, I mean, it's pretty much this whole thing, but this area is where I stitched. So I don't know if you can see that. That's kind of hard to tell, but look at the difference. Look at the difference. I mean, I know part of it is probably the fabric, but I was really worried about the floss colors. And I mean, I know there's not a lot in here yet. I was really worried about the floss colors, and I did the floss toss, and I was like, I know I did the floss toss before. And I still really, I was like, no, these look really good on this fabric, so I'm going with it. But the glitter, I mean, this pictures and camera, unfortunately, do not do metallics or blending filaments or beads justice, because it's so sparkly. It's so pretty. Excuse me. My plan for this is a very 90s backstitch. I am going to change it up with the backstitching. I'm going to use colors that more accurately reflect the item that they're being stitched with. And I don't know if you can see how it follows every square. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm going to smooth it out, kind of like a Dimensions does, and not have it be so blocky. I'm hoping that's going to look really cool. It's going to be a long time before I get there, but I think I'm going to make myself a note after the video when I'm editing for what I want to do with that as far as the back stitch goes, so I don't forget 15 years down the line that that's what I wanted to do. Excuse me. So that was that. Okay, next that came out was, not that one. Oh, I messed it up. Oh, nuts. Pardon my head. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. Next one that came out was a kit by Dimensions. This is just a regular Dimensions kit, not gold, not petite, not charts and charms, just normal. This is Victorian Charm. Artwork is by, oh, does it tell me? I don't think it tells me. Oh, I folded it so it fit. Nope, doesn't say there either. Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad, because this artist or whoever is very nice as far as what they've designed. This was a Mania start one year, and I just did a little band across here, like Yeah, right in there. This was called to have 1,500 stitches. And this is where some of the change up was happening, and the realization that I really need to have a limit on how many stitches, because I tend to, and I'll take a couple of days if I need to stitch, but once especially if it takes me a couple of days on a paper pattern to stitch, by day 3, I'm over it. Like, I want to be done with the project. I want to switch it out. I ended up getting 1,067 stitches, and I was just like, I started not wanting to stitch at all because I was pushing for this to be stitched. And I'm like, this is stupid not to stitch just because I don't really want to finish the called for things. So I'm going to put Victorian Charm back in the basket. Did I remember to note? Ooh, I don't think I remembered to write down. Crap. I don't think I remembered to write down how many stitches I did on it. So, I mean, if it gets pulled again, I'll have my notes somewhere. If I look at my notes, that's another thing. Anyways, this was the second bust in Markup RXP. I was able to get another Dimensions kit put in to markup beautifully. What was it? Not Autumn Fairy or Fall Fairy. What was her name? Was it Spring Fairy? Is Spring Fairy the one I have? I don't remember. That's too many project switches, and my brain is not quite up to 100% yet as far as thoughts. Anyways, I got it in, but this one, again, I don't know. Okay, so the page that the pattern is on is too big for my printer to get all of it, or my scanner bed to get all of it in one go. So what I did was I folded it at the middle to get half of the pattern. So basically a 4-page PDF pattern. And it ended up really skinny. And I don't know if like Markup didn't like, because it was, every one of them was centered in the scan. So like it offered me a 1x4 or a 4x1. It wouldn't put them in, 2x2, which if you're familiar with Markup, hopefully you know what I'm talking about with the setups. But again, the main reason why I want to put a paper pattern in is, especially if it's multi-page or too big, is so that I can stitch it all together and have it as one thing without having a huge piece of paper. That didn't work. And then it also had trouble, and again, I don't know if this was because of the scan, because I have to do the scan on 300 DPI, and I do have an option for 600, but that makes the file huge, and for whatever reason, I can't upload my files into Google Drive on my computer. It doesn't let me. I have to email it to myself, and if it's too big, even with I tried to zip it down at one point, and it didn't go down small enough. So all that to say, it wouldn't register. It didn't show the color differences well enough. Actually, that was 4. I'm kind of lying. That was another problem that I found on Ride to Dreamland, is it couldn't differentiate between red and black well enough, and they used the same symbol twice. One was red, one was black, and I realized it, luckily, before I had any stitches in, that's what had happened. Dimensions is really good about not duplicating symbol shapes, but they do have different colors, and I realized that I was going to have a hard time like seeing the difference between them, and that was going to take me longer to like look for the colors that I was going to use. So again, I just magneted the pattern onto my stand and just started stitching. But by then I was like, I'd wasted half an afternoon trying to figure out how to get this in there. So I'm like, okay, for paper patterns, some of them I'm just going to have to do, I'm just going to be a paper girl. Markup still has its place. I'm still enjoying it. Just not for every paper pattern, maybe. It's a learning process. Okay, are we ready to see the actual project? I'm talky today, guys. Maybe because my voice isn't quite as bad. I'm not coughing quite as bad, so I can talk. I don't know, whatever. Okay, so again, 1,067 stitches. Hopefully you can see my before. So really, I just had this band right here done. I've added all this blue and the frame for. Show you where. There, the tower. There. So the window is dark. Nobody's turned the light on yet. I still have to stitch all that yellow. But those flowers had the teeniest amount of confetti in them. But I did enjoy it. It's just, like I said, I got to that, ooh, hi, blue and red. I gotta get a curtain up and see if that helps. Like a white light curtain or something. Help me not be an Oompa Loompa. So I did enjoy it. I liked the progress that I saw, but like I said, that last, I just couldn't with that last 500. So back into the basket it goes, to be drawn again another day. I think part of it too is the majority of the projects that I drew were paper patterns. And I was kind of tired of paper patterns by the time I got to this. Excuse me. And then last but not least, I forgot where my book was. I was working on my Christmas ornament for stained glass candles. There we go. Here. This is from this book, 100 Cross-Stitch Christmas Ornaments. From 2000 something, I think. 91. just a couple years off. 91. I may try and smooth this this back stitching out as well, and maybe do like a gold. I don't know. Depends on how creative I'm feeling when I get there. I'm not done with this goal yet. It's a goal of 600 stitches, which may or may not be a finish for this. Again, I thought the fabric that I pulled for it, I thought was an 18 count. And I failed to actually measure it like a smart person would. So again, I left myself like no margin. I'm 240 out of 600 stitches in on this so far. So I'm debating on whether or not I want to actually put those little stained glass lines in. I don't really like how they're charted, and I don't know how I would do it better. So I might just leave it out. So I'm going to finish this one, this goal. So you'll see that again next week, hopefully. Okay. Now, that's it for stitching as far as progress goes. It's not done with stitchy talk or stitchy do stuff. Okay, so what let's not forget to put that in there. My threads. I did not get to well, one of them, technically. Two of them. Okay. I did not get to two of them. The two I did not get to were day signs, and that's going to actually go back in to the basket. It's already in the basket. And then Long Have I Waited, which is a full coverage start. That stayed in my little basket. Day signs went back in because it's a paper pattern. I decided to go through my new start basket. So I have 2 baskets. One has my whips from last year, well, from that I'd had started already. And then I had a second basket for new starts. New starts far outweighs whips. Yes, I have paper patterns in my whips, but I'm not too stressed about them because I'm familiar with them. I've already worked on them. Yes, Victorian charm I'd already worked on, but it had a pretty small start. Okay. So what I did, new starts. These are, what are these? These are paper patterns. These are full coverage, or not full coverage, PDF, PK compatible, stuff I know I can get into markup, that kind of thing. They are exactly the same. They are 97 each at this point in time, which I was kind of excited about. Which translates into, if I pick 8 projects every week, regardless of, you know, if I don't get to them all, I don't get to them all. I can just throw them back in. I'm keeping long have I waited out because I really want to start that one. These are my rules. I can bend them and break them and remold them as I will, right? So I'm going to still pick 8 projects a week. I am back to where I can work full time now for work. So stitching time, stitching numbers and stuff is probably going to go back down again, which is fine. I'm going to pull 8 projects simply because it allows me to pull 3 of the paper patterns, 3 of the PDFs, and 2 of the 2 of my whips, like from original whips. That way I'm not overwhelming myself with paper patterns because that was really, really, really discouraging. And I'm like, I guess I didn't really realize how many paper pattern projects I had in my start pile. Like, I knew it was a lot, but I didn't realize it was like half and half. So, that being said, let us draw for next week's projects. Like I said, I'm going to finish candles. Long Have I Waited, I don't think has that many stitches. I think he was only a 300 start. Yeah, there's only 300 start and 300 stitches on that one. So I was pulling projects based on like stitch count numbers and doing math. I don't want to do math anymore. So, and with wanting to do this 3 and 3, I figured, why make it harder on myself? These blasted Christmas ornaments, I swear. All right, so Starbright Giraffe. Oops. Man down. I gotta move this. The Starbright Giraffe, 1100. So that's kind of a big one, right? So I'm a little sad that I don't have a basket to pull from. I'm pulling from the Ziploc, but it's gonna make me a lot happier in the long run. So. Worry. That's 700. That one's an Emma Congdon piece. One more for paper patterns. Kind of liking that I know it's going to be a paper pattern that I'm pulling. Moths and the Moon for 1300. That's a big one. Moths and the Moon. I don't remember what that one is. It'll be a surprise for both of us. Okay. Now we get PDF new starts. Okay. Ooh, Nocturnal Messenger for 500. This one, I know that one's a LuthienARTShop piece. That's gorgeous. It's like a Halloween raven thing going on. Ooh. Supersized Max Color Chimera Black Rose for 800. It's going to look like nothing because it's giant. It's exciting. That one's been waiting in the wings to start for a long time. Long time. Like, that was the first bundle of Heaven and Earth design patterns I ever got. Oh, look, kids, another Christmas ornament. Now, I had to replace a Christmas ornament, the 4 Christmas ornaments at one point, so I have to see which one this one is. Because this what I have written down is not what is actually going to be worked. 27. This is Merry Christmas Gnome. Apparently that's different than different than gnome flag. Okay. Maybe I started the wrong one. Anyway, we'll see which one that one is. All right, so there's those 3. Now we do tulips. I did, when I went through that whole basket, I did pull Dark Queen of the Earth out. She is out of the running because I need to get a different fabric for her. Country Cabin. This is one of my old eBay kits. What is that? Number 400? There. Don't be paper pattern. Don't be paper pattern. I'm throwing it back in if it's a paper pattern. Okay, I won't. It's a paper pattern, but I like this one. Asian Sampler. 800. That's good. I'm excited to get some progress in that one. Okay. So, let me unblock myself and go get, go get the stuffs we're gonna hopefully work on. I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah, I really am taking forever to talk about this stuff, aren't I? We're already at an hour. Oh my goodness. I mean, I know I have long videos, but usually I'm like kind of done with. Anyway, whatever. Okay. Chimera Black Rose is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Lori Prindle. Let me get just some stats on it. Oh, there she is. Okay. So yeah, she's supersized max colors, the version that I have. 999 by 909, so it's like super sized. And it's got 172 colors. So she's very purple shaded. So, and there's not like a huge assortment of purples in DMC's range and pinks. Well, pinks are a little bit better, but yeah, so it's only 172 colors. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to grab. I'll have to get up and grab that too. That was the only one. Oh, no, I got a couple of the. So. Oh man, down. I keep dropping this pieces of papers. Okay. I'm trying to do this so I can see them all. Okay. I said Merry Christmas Gnome, right? I did start the wrong one. That's funny. I have, okay, so I have one of the gnome ornaments listed twice. I wrote them down once as flag gnome and once as Merry Christmas Gnome. So I have a free spot for another start. And we might do that. He might get substituted for Medusa Dolmake. That I showed it briefly in a previous video, but I have a Medusa Dollmaker kit from Gecko Rouge that I wouldn't mind starting. How many stitches was he gonna get? He was gonna get 600. Maybe I'll look at the ornaments and start another ornament. That seems fair. I'll go through my ornaments and see what I want to start. How do I do that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I don't know. I'll figure out what I did later. Oops. Okay. That's funny. I'm kind of glad I had Alright, anyway. And then Nocturnal Messenger, again, was from LuthienARTShop. He was actually a freebie for subscribing to her monthly newsletter. And he is, I don't remember if any of her stats are on. Yes, maybe. Possibly. He is 300 by 100 stitches wide. 300 down. Not a ton of colors. 26-ish. I believe he is available on her shop on Etsy, so I will link him down below. She is, let's see, the original artist is Lady P Graphics. I really like this one. So it's not my usual style, but I like him. It's probably partly the colors. Okay, and then that is how do I want to do that? Because my Christmas ornament was a PDF one. I may start that Medusa doll maker kit if I don't run out of time to stitch all these, which is a very, very big possibility. Okay, so for paper patterns, we have Asian Sampler. This is by Cooler Design Studio. Artwork designed by Sandy Orton. And I'm out of practice, guys. Well, those are all new starts, right? That I showed you. Yeah, those are all new starts. Country Cabin. Yeah, it's just these two that are whips. Okay. Sometimes this is hard. I will have room for ornaments over here too. I'm like an ornament kick still. It's kind of annoying drawing them all the time, but so that's where I'm starting from. I will work in. Well, this is a backstitch thread that I actually, because I got all the backstitch done here. And started here, and then of course I've got to get the rest of that filled in, and then there's not much left of this color in this section. I'll probably fill, like, bring this down and probably start filling in the letters. What is that one gonna get? It's gonna get 800. Oh, my son is awake. Okay, had to put him back to bed. All right. Where was I? Asian Sampler, showed that to you. Okay. That's gonna put away. It'll be a disaster. Alright, Country Cabin is, like I said, a kit I got off eBay ages and ages ago. Itchy nose. And I got a moderate start on it. This is done on 14 count Ada. And a variety of stitches. Most of this roof is 10 stitch. That's where I'm at so far. So I'll just keep trucking along with it. Tell you what, that's actually very relieving to know. I just have 4 of the paper patterns to work from. That was good. That was good. Okay. I forgot to grab the Emma Congdon book while I was up. Okay, Moths in the Moon is a tiny modernist piece. Ooh, clear, sorry. And I don't even remember what it looks like, a linen of some sort. I'll be doing over 2. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And, ooh, the chart's nice and big, so that'll be nice and easy to read. And then I should have looked in here to find what I needed to out of here too. Angels. This one, okay. I cover the pattern on the other side. That's the Starbright Giraffe. That looks like a lot of stitches. I don't know if 1100 will get that done. Be close though. Might be close. 45 by 64. Maybe. Maybe. We will see. Move this so I can find again. Okay. So the only thing left to show you is, yeah, that Emma Congdon piece. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, the last piece I drew for comes from Cross Stitch for the Soul. And it says, worry does not take away tomorrow's troubles, it takes away today's peace. Something I need to learn to live by. And these are some lighter colors, so I decided to, no, just kidding. I was gonna say I thought I did it on a different color fabric, but apparently I didn't have a choice. It's on white. 14 count? 18 count? I don't know, I pre-cut it, so I'm not gonna worry too much about what count it is. Emmas look really good on these larger square fabrics. Okay. All right, next phase. Oh, stupid ladybugs scared the crap out of me. So I have a story to tell you at the end about why I'm like paranoid about the bugs around me right now. Okay, let me grab the board. Okay, so as some of you kindly pointed out, last video, I have read everybody's comments. I just have not had a chance to reply. That usually happens during editing of the next video. I forgot to put a star for the rocking horse. There's a star. Okay, now, the sound this thing makes my back teeth itch. And apparently that's true for at least one of you. So I can only assume that there's more of us the ASMR goes a little chaotic with this marker. So I don't really talk a whole lot during crossing off. It's me really mumbling just titles and crossing off. I'm going to turn the volume way down for this clip so that hopefully the nails on chalkboard isn't quite as bad. So hopefully it works during editing and that it's not like weird on the ears, you know what I mean? This is so awkward. Okay. All right. Okay, now we just got to do the little tally marks for the goals that were finished. What did I cross off? 1, 2, 3, just 4 so far. All right, I might have to turn this one down too, so we'll see. Yeah, I had to turn that one down too. Okay. All right, so not as epic of a cross off this time as last time, but hopefully we're on track as far as the videos go and timing wise. Okay, so, all right, let me put everything away. And I will do my outro for the folks who are not here for anything other than stitching, and I'll be right back. Okay, so yeah, I don't have any haul or anything like that to show this time. So if that was all you were here for, thank you so much for joining me. An hour and 7 minutes is, plus whatever for the intro, is nothing to shake a stick at, and I so appreciate you being here. Hope you will join me next time. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. It would be awesome to have you. So, all right, for those of you who want a little bit of life update, we'll go ahead and do that now. So my story. My husband was at work. It was just me and the little guy. And I was working and going along fine, and, you know, I'm just kind of trying to get back into my groove after being sick. And I had to use the restroom. So I go in the bathroom and I sit down and I start doing my thing. And I look up. I'm not going to insert a photo because I don't want to terrify any of you fellow arachnophobes. So about a foot and a half, maybe, in front of my face was a wolf spider. This big. I kid you not, it was this big. Including legs and everything, which, if you're not familiar with wolf spiders, especially if you're overseas and whatnot, they are nomadic hunters. They do not spin webs. They are very beneficial spiders. I do not want them that big in my house at all, especially when there's nobody here to deal with them. I'm not going to ask the 6-year-old to deal with a spider that big. It was hanging out, so my husband's work pants were hanging. We have like a rack or whatever that's got some hangers on it, and his pants for work hang there, like his extra pair. And it was hanging out on the waistband, and the way it was positioned, it was looking directly at my face. We were eye to eye, and I really hope he was sitting there going, "I've been spotted." Oh, it was a good thing I was already sitting down because I would have peed my pants. It was huge, huge. So I'm like trying to get up off the toilet, this doing one of these, because now I can't not look at it. I don't want to look at it, but I can't not look at it, because what if it goes away and then this giant spider is running around the house and I don't know where he is, but I can't stay in the room with him because he's way too big. I'm texting my husband, "Oh my God, what do?" I text my chat group friends, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I sent them the video. I'm like, this thing is going to eat me. So now my mojo is completely off kilter because every 10 minutes I have to go and look in the bathroom to make sure the stupid thing is still there. I don't know what I'm going to do if it's not there anymore, but I need to make sure I know exactly where it is. It's too big for me to squish. Once they start going crunch, I cannot squish a spider. And frankly, I would rather that kind of spider be relocated outside. Now, I have seen a possibility where spiders that have made their way indoors cannot be relocated outdoors. However, that big mofo came from outside. He can go back outside. There is no way a spider that big just hung out in my house. No. And it is right next to the French doors of the walkout basement. So yes, they just come in from outside and they can go back outside. But it was too, and they're like, "Well, can you catch it? Like, do you have a glass?" I'm like, "No, because I cannot get that close to it. I can peek around the wall at it and make sure it's still hanging out there." And mind you, that like 5 hours before my husband was going to be home. And I have to go check on this thing like every 10 minutes. I'm like, this is going to be a really long night. Luckily, my stepson came home and he is not terrified of spiders. He trapped it, he took it outside, and he let it run on its merry way. I named him Hercules. It's spring. It is definitely spring, and spring, while I love spring, spring is definitely spider season, which I don't love. That was my excitement for one day of the week. Let's see what else happened to me. Not a lot, which is it's good. This is a good thing. I may end up having to go back into urgent care on Monday if this still is doing what it's doing. I don't want to. It's a lot of time that I could be working or stitching or not sitting at urgent care. But I talked to my nurse at the doctor's office today, and she said that she would rather make sure it wasn't not completely knocked out by the antibiotics and that it's not settling in my chest. It's mosquito season too, apparently. I feel like there was a couple of questions that I did get that I forgot to screenshot and like mental note. So I apologize if you did ask me. Oh, I do remember. I don't remember your name, of course. Apologies there, but somebody asked me how I stitch so much. This has been a question off and on throughout the years that I've been on Flosstube about how I stitch so much, how I stitch so fast, whatever. Part of it is that I work from home. I have no commute, and besides like the basics of taking care of a household, I work when I'm healthy. When I'm healthy, I work and I stitch, and that's pretty much it. I don't have a commute time, so that time's not taken up. I do use a Lowry stand. I stitch two-handed. That definitely sped up my stitching, like double speed for me. I do get a lot of hole-in-ones, as I like to call them, where when you're coming back up from the back of the fabric and you're searching for the hole where I just put it through the hole that I need. I do get a lot of that. I don't know, I guess I have good spatial recognition when it comes to my hand underneath the fabric. Pattern keeper, markup, PDFs, anything electronic that can help like visually improve seeing the pattern, finding the stitches, absolutely has sped that up as well. But I would say, but that being said, I would remind anyone and everyone who's like, oh my gosh, I can't, because I stitched like 9,000 stitches in however many days it's been since I recorded. Part of that is because I am working, but until today, it wasn't full days back to work. I was only able to go about 4 hours. Or, it's been slowly working its way up from, 2, 3, 4, 5, full day of work. So I still had a lot of stitching time. But don't forget that everyone is on their own journey. This is not a race. Yes, I'm sure it's that desire, especially if you have more of a desire to have finishes than I do. I'm definitely a process stitcher. I like finishes, but they're not like, oh my God, I have to have this finished. That's definitely not me. But if you do have that urge, I can see how it would be frustrating to feel like you are a slow stitcher. But do try to enjoy the process, the relaxation benefits for all of us, especially those of us who do suffer a little bit with mental health, and that this is our therapy time, basically, when we're not in therapy. And, to just enjoy it for what it is and not necessarily to rush through it. Because your stitching is your own. No, you can't. Yeah, there's stitch-alongs and stuff where if there's a prize, stitching faster has its advantages, but sometimes, frankly, I envy somebody who can do a monogamous stitch. because I can't concentrate long enough on one project to get it done start to finish unless it's a really tiny project. You know, so I still have my, man, I wish I coulds as well, you know. Yes, could I stop starting all the things? Sure, but part of this enjoyment for me is getting all of my projects started and touched. That's not for everybody, and that's okay. You know, but some days, yeah, I kind of wish, man, I wish I could concentrate a little bit more and get some more progress done on that. But again, inevitably what happens is my stitchy bug runs and hides. So, I'm trying to think if there was anything. Next week is the total solar eclipse for the United States. Well, technically next week. Yeah, technically next week now since it's Sunday. We are having our hammock hang that is coming together. My husband took the week off of his regular job. Well, which one is his regular job? I don't know. Off the outside of the house job to start prepping for that. We've got he cooks a ton of meat and, you know, just preps and gets stuff ready for the hang. Thankfully, my son, like all the kids around here, their schools are canceled because the traffic is expected, like the population density of the county that I live in is projected to double. And we're not even in like the full length of time for the total eclipse. Like I think we're about 2 minutes of total eclipse time. Whereas if you're dead set in the center, it's almost 3.5 minutes, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's close. Like Niagara Falls, I wouldn't want to be within 100 miles of, if that close, because they are right dead center of the path of totality. Weather is looking pretty good for it. Probably going to have some clouds, so hopefully we won't have cloud cover right over the moon and the sun as they're doing their dance. But yeah, the kids are off of school because they're worried about traffic and their safety. So, which I'm really glad because, like, they wouldn't have even been able to have the kids go outside and do the eclipse stuff because they were going to be on the bus. And it's like, that would have been a bummer. And yeah, anyway. So that's coming up. Stitch North countdown is still counting down. I am still so excited. I was looking at routes and talking to my husband about, because there are some tolls going up there, and he's like, well, if you go this way, it's $1 cheaper. I'm like, and I have to drive through Detroit, and it adds 15 minutes. So no, I'd rather go through Buffalo, thanks. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. So hopefully, knock on wood, this clears up a little bit more and I don't catch anything else before I leave or after I get there or when I come home. I'm so tired of being sick. For those of you suggesting and worried about, you know, my immune system, it's always sucked. It's always been terrible. But I picked this up from the store. So hopefully, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's whatever, Claire. Some immune support something. It's got vitamin D and zinc, which is supposed to be really helpful. Elderberry, echinacea. I don't know, a bunch of crap. I made sure none of my medicines interacted with anything herbal-wise, so we'll see how that goes. I told my husband that it was like $10 for the bottle and it lasts almost a month. I'm like, if it helps my immune system not be terrible, I think $10 a month is worth the investment. So, yeah, other than that, life is seeming to get, I adulted really hard the other day. Like, I messaged my group of people and I was like, look what I did. Because, I didn't stitch that day, but boy, I got a lot. Like, I caught up from being like down for a month and a half, basically. I cleaned my kitchen, I did all my laundry, I got it all folded and put away. I even went through my dresser and pulled out clothes that I am too fat for. I'm not going to get rid of them because I'm really trying to make my health a priority. Not only my immune health, but you know, my physical rest of that, which hopefully will help the rest of my health. I don't know. But I'm really trying to make my health a priority this year, and getting some of this excess weight off. So, but it's just, it was taking up too much room in my dresser. I'm going to go through my closet and whatever. Spring cleaning is happening. Definitely am feeling the energy of coming out of winter. I just wish it would be like we're doing that back and forth, like way too cold for windows to be open. Now it's really nice and we can open the window, and it's definitely bouncing very quickly back and forth between the two. So, all right, I think I've babbled along far long enough. Time is dear, and I thank you so much for spending your time with me. I know, yeah, I say it, I try to say it every video, but I really can't thank the support of you guys. I can't thank you enough. So, I will not promise to be back next week because I don't know what the future holds, but I certainly will try. That is the goal. In the meantime, please everyone, take care. Enjoy your stitching, fast or slow. Heater is kicked on, so I will let you go. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.